they were very hospitable. And Martha jumps at the chance. Now, here's the type of house that Martha was inviting Jesus into. Well, there's two maybe general types of houses. Here's a picture of the first one. This was maybe for low-income families or a couple that's just starting off in a new village. They would have a house like this. But here's probably what Martha's house looked like because she was inviting Jesus and a lot of people over. So let's look at the next slide here. You can see a courtyard in the middle. And Jesus, with his disciples, they would go into the house, and Jesus would sit down in this courtyard, and the disciples and all the people listening would surround him and sit at his feet as he taught them. And all the women and all the children would kind of get out of the hair of the men and of Jesus, and he would be teaching as they would be getting supper ready. So everything to this point is pretty much to par of the course. This is what we would kind of expect. But let's read verse 39 and see what happens. It says, Martha had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. This would have been kind of crazy to the people reading this story, because Mary was not in the right place that she should be culturally. Mary should have been with the women in the back room or in the kitchen, getting the meal ready or helping serve the men who were listening to Jesus. So she was in a place that she shouldn't have been, surrounded by men, sitting at Jesus' feet. Secondly, she was doing something that she culturally shouldn't have been doing, which was learning from the teacher. That was the job of the men, and then the men would teach their families, while the women worked on the meal and served them. And so you shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised that Martha was a little upset about this. Verse 40 says this, but Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up and said to him, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Then tell her to help me. We can all take a minute and love on Martha, right? She's working hard. She's sweating, getting this house ready for Jesus. I mean, that's the one guess that you want everything to be perfect for. The past couple months while our house has been on the market, my wife Kayla is a superhero. We'll get a call during the day that a realtor wants to come and bring a client over to our house, and so we drop everything, and even though we try to keep the house kind of clean, we scrub and we mop and we clear everything off, make it as presentable as possible, and we're sweating, and it's a lot of hard work to get a house ready. Every Thursday night we have students over for dinner and Bible study, and it's a tough job hosting people. And imagine if that was Jesus. And so we can sympathize with Martha, who now all of a sudden has probably 30 or 50 guests in her home, including Jesus, that she could use all the help she could get. And her sister is just sitting at Jesus' feet. So she goes to Jesus and she starts off her formal complaint with the same lines that the disciples used a few different times in the story of Luke. It's kind of interesting, actually. When the disciples are with Jesus in the fishing boat and they're on the Sea of Galilee and the storm just comes out of nowhere and the boat is rocking back and forth and they're sinking, Peter runs down to where Jesus is sleeping. What does Peter say? He says, Lord, do you not care that we're about to die? Well, here's what Martha says. Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. It's kind of funny how a lot of times we assume we know what's best, even better than what Jesus believes. I know that's the same for me. Jesus, do you not care that I'm still single and feeling lonely? Jesus, do you not care that I don't have enough money coming in to pay all the bills and to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish? Jesus, do you not care that we will have literally no pastors at our church this summer? Jesus has to chuckle every time. We have to empathize with Martha. We'd be in the same place. But listen to what Jesus says to Martha, because honestly, it's shocking to Martha. It's shocking to the people who were around at that time. And honestly, for me, it's really honestly shocking to hear Jesus say this every single time I read it. Verse 41, Jesus answered her, Martha, Martha, you are so anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. What has Mary chosen? What is the best thing that Mary has chosen to do out of all the things in the whole entire world that she could be doing? The one thing she chooses is to know Jesus and to grow in relationship with him. To know Jesus and to grow in relationship with him. Shocking for a lot of reasons. Let's get into it. I think it's shocking first and foremost is because Jesus says that it's better to just be and to know rather than to do and to produce. In their culture, that was a shocking thing to say, but I think even especially for our culture, that's super shocking. Imagine when the papers are all due and your professor's collecting them, looking at you and saying, hey, I need your paper. And you just said, hey, Dr. Smith, I decided that it was better for me to just be and to know the information rather than do the paper and produce something really good for you. I mean, that just doesn't fly. Imagine showing up to work that day and saying that same thing to your boss. Or imagine being in a church where for some reason the first priority isn't to serve the people in the community. It's not to do a Bible study. That would be kind of shocking. Jesus says that doing and producing isn't the best part. I think one good example of this is I did a wedding for someone a few years ago. No one here, so don't make assumptions. And the bride was running around moments before the ceremony was supposed to start, making sure the flowers were perfect, making sure her bridal party had their hair and makeup on, making sure that the musicians knew the program of events so that they didn't get messed up. She was so concerned about everything else and about doing and producing that when it came time for her to walk down the aisle, she forgot that she was the one wearing the dress. And she almost missed the best part of her wedding day. In fact, in some ways, I kind of worry that she did miss the best part. You know, I can't tell you the number of people I've talked to, and I've certainly been there myself countless times. People who are doing great works for Jesus, whether that's inside of the church building itself or in their corporate office or on campus or whatever it looks like. The list of accomplishments for the mission of Jesus is just incredible. Something that inspires me and makes me long to be like them. But many times their lives are void of the joy that it once had, the light that it once had when they first started following Jesus. Churches are like this too. They're doing great things out in the community. They're doing great things on the stage. But everybody's just kind of this empty shell. Like a machine pumping out completed projects rather than people who genuinely reflect the love and the joy of Jesus. Why is that? It's because they missed the best part.